There is this thing called the awakening. Now, I never knew it existed until very recently. And it happened one night when I was sitting at home and I was reflecting on the last couple of years, and I realized that I wasn't worried about anything anymore. I kind of didn't care. And in not caring, there was a peace. But there was also a fear that I was lost, that I was out of control, but yet in total control. And also that I really didn't know where I was going. So then I started to study a little bit, and I started to learn about it, and I realized that it's called the awakening. And the awakening is it's not a religious awakening. It's not an awakening in the sense of religious spirituality. It's just a knowing, a deep knowing that comes from inside. And what happens is, when you're leaving your old life, metaphorically, and you're stepping into your new life, or the new version of yourself, there is a point where there is what's called the awakening. It sounds nice, but it's not nice. It's actually, you're very scared in that moment, because it's a void. It's almost like you're there, but you're not there, and you don't know where you came from, and you don't know where you're going, and you have this fear of, well, I need to go back. I gotta go back. I'm getting lost now. I need to go back there. I need to go back to those people. I need to go back to that alcohol. I need to go back to that food that made me feel so good. And who cares about being overweight? Who cares about being drunk? Who cares about having toxic people in my life? You want to go back there. But you can't go back there. Because first of all, you don't have the energy to go back there in that state of awakening. So your only choice is to go forward. But you don't know where you're going. How can you go forward if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what you're going to do, if you don't know who you're going to be, if you don't know who you want to surround yourself with? So you're stuck. You're stuck in awakening. And it's important that you stay there for a little while. It could be a day, it could be 2 days, 3 days, it could be a week, it could be a month, but you need to stay there. Now, you're not frozen, in a room that you can't move. You're still going about your daily life. You're still doing your job if you have a job. You're still taking care of business. You're around your family. But as you're doing that, you're feeling a new you emerge. For instance, one thing that happened is I was in a situation where my partner sometimes will criticize certain little things I do. Not detrimentally, not in anything really bad, but it's just one of those things, and it's kind of annoyed me for a long time. And then when I was going through the awakening, at one point, they said something to me, and I immediately, I wasn't angry, or I didn't snap, but I turned around and I said, it really bothers me when you do that. Like, I know I've never said it before, but it bothers me. And then they were like, oh, well, I don't mean anything by it. And then they apologized. And then I felt this overwhelming sense of peace deep inside. And I said, thank you. And that's the moment when you know you're going forward. That's the moment when you know you're healing. Now, for me, this was quite a while ago. And I'm still not healed. Or I guess a better way to say it is, I'm still not whole. But none of us are ever whole. I mean, that wouldn't be life, right? Like, you don't just wake up one morning and say, okay, I'm perfect now. That's just not how life works. But when you pass through awakening, you will emerge a completely different person. People around you will notice it. And people around you who you know used to test you or say things to you that were a little off color, they won't do it anymore. Because they can feel your energy. And they can feel that that's not cool anymore. And you haven't said anything. You haven't told them. You haven't protested. It just is. They just feel it. They feel it because of who you are. Because you're new now. You're not the person you were a month ago, or 2 months ago, or 3 months ago, or 6 months ago, or a year ago, or 2 years ago, in my case. I'm a completely different person now. I want you to push forward until you get to the awakening. And when you get there, don't be scared. Because a new you is emerging. And that's when life gets really good. Thanks for watching.